Hey everyone, it's Mike Andes with Landscape Business Course, and today we are going to be talking to someone who's been running their lawn care business for quite some time, but they don't know their numbers. They don't understand their numbers, but not even understanding, they don't even know what the numbers are because they have given their numbers to their bookkeeper and just left it alone, and they don't understand things. So we're going to be talking about today, we're going to be talking about profit first, the method by which you split money into different accounts, when you should use that, when you should not use that, and really just going over the importance of knowing your numbers. And I don't even mean understanding them and being able to interpret them and have reports. I just mean knowing them, like what it was your revenue last month, how much did you spend on fuel. These are all things you must know if you're going to make good decisions for your business. So Carlos, really appreciate his vulnerability and his acceptance of being able to share this information with you, because we actually show QuickBooks, we show his numbers, we show a lot of kind of sensitive information, and so really appreciative of him being able to share this with the lawn care community so we can all learn and know our numbers. Now, I know there's going to be some people in the comments that will go off on me about how I'm oversimplifying the accounting for Carlos and telling him that he should strip some things down. And you're going to get really mad, and you're going to give me some GAAP, generally accepted accounting methods, principles, and you're going to try to throw those in my face. And that's fine. But I promise you, having every single T crossed and I dotted when it comes to the accounting principles, what's correct and all the rest of it, is going to be far less valuable to him in his small business than knowing what the numbers are in general. All right, so keep that in mind. This is not what the advice I give Carlos today is for small businesses. You know, you're not going to get away with what I talk about today if you are in big businesses. And when I talk about today, I talk about like reducing the number of categories you have on your profit and loss statement, simplification, just so you can understand and get data. That's the thing that's most important for us as small business owners. And so if you've just been relegating your expense categorization to someone else and getting reports from them every quarter or a month after the transactions have actually gone through, I promise you there's things leaking through the cracks, not only at the accounting level, but also the fact that you are not getting good data to be able to make decisions in your business. How much you should grow, whether or not you should employ another person, whether you should buy a truck or a piece of equipment, whether or not you should hire someone else. These are all things you need to know your numbers for. And so I'm going to give it pretty straight to Carlos, especially towards the end. You're going to see me get pretty fired up about what he needs to do to simplify things. This is really important for people that overthink things. And because they don't feel like sufficient enough in terms of numbers and ready accounting, they give it to someone else, but then they just overthink everything, but they don't actually have information that they need to run their business. So it leads to a lot of issues in the business. So let's go ahead and jump into this one. This is actually a one-on-one call I had with Carlos. If you want to book your own one-on-one call, in the link down below in the description, just click the link and you can schedule a time to book a call with me directly. Also, last thing is make sure you sign up for Landscape Summit 2021. It's January, this coming January, for 3 days. You can go on the website, landscapebusinesscourse.com/conference. Make sure you book your ticket. We're going to be running up against our max capacity due to social distancing, and I don't know exactly when that's going to be. So please, if you're planning on coming, book your ticket to the conference and book your room, because both of those things are going to fill up very, very quickly. I just don't know how fast, simply because it's depending on how much they restrict us on social distancing. So I'm going to try to figure that out, but it could be pretty soon. Please book your ticket if you really want to come. I can't guarantee there's going to be tickets to the end, so please make sure you book that. So without any further delay, let's go ahead and jump into this one with Carlos Rodriguez. He has 100 lawns right now, about 30 lawn properties that he does bed maintenance, and I really think you're going to get a lot out of this one. Here we go.
Hello, Mike.
Hey, Carlos, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Oh, there, I can see you now.
Yeah, man. How you been?
Good. I just realized, because I've been on the phone for the past 4 hours, that you sent me your financials. So let me just try to pull those up real quick.
Okay. You know a lot of these calls?
Yeah, I've had 6 of them this morning. So
Wow.
see here. Gotcha. Here it is.
Yeah,
I
I don't have good.
Go ahead.
I don't have a good grasp on what it is, like the bookkeeping side of the business. So I don't really know. Like, I sent you also I was talking to someone that has a landscape company. That's like how he organizes his company because mine is just like I just pay someone, they do the bookkeeping, but I never know what it means or anything. I'm sure you've heard people say something like that.
Sure.
So that's what I mean that's what I'm in right now, is seeing how I can be more organized and understand my numbers better.
For sure. All right,
Yeah.
let me pull this up. I don't know why it's taking so long. Cool. While these are loading up, kind of fill me in kind of where you're at since last year when we talked.
All
Did
right.
you end up going out of town or anything like that?
You know what? I haven't even taken any vacations at all. I mean, you know how being a business owner, sometimes you can't really, you have to be there, especially when the business is small,
Yep.
you have to put in a lot of time. So right now I've had like a mess, like with the equipment, like just mowers, breaking down. And I had actually a trailer that went out, and it's going to take 6 weeks to get the trailer back. So I had two people lent me trailers, and both of them didn't work for us. So I had to buy a new trailer just because I had to, or else I couldn't continue mowing. So I bought that. And I had 5 people in the beginning of the year, and now I just have 2 people because just, I mean, we were doing cleanup quotes, but I mean, kind of just died down. And I just thought, okay, I'm just going to focus on recurring. All I have is weekly mowing and like a monthly bed maintenance thing that we're doing now. And that's all we did with the 2 guys. And then, so and also I've been able to kind of get in the field and see like how to fix things, like how to find efficiencies and how to, improve the business. So that's pretty much where we've been at for this year. And I'm sure like the revenue is less now because we're just doing 2 guys. It's not like the last couple of years we've always had 4 guys, and this time it's just 2. So I don't know, but it's been kind of cool to see see the business and its and its, I guess, its possibilities of what it can be in the future. So I'm kind of interested in see what I can do to kind of provide something good for the employees so that they have like initiative of wanting to be here. Sometimes I feel like it's kind of like the interaction or the relationship I have with them is kind of like, I don't know if they see me as like someone that just like wants them to work a lot, just work and then me be like the guy that's rich, which is not the case, but I feel like that's what happens there. So I don't know if there's like a way to kind of just like grow together and have like a good relationship, whereas like we're like going to the same goal, and we all want to grow and make money, but have a good relationship, so that's kind of like where I'm at right now.
Perfect. Cool.
Yeah.
So I got these numbers downloaded. So it looks like year to date, you're at 211. Last year we did 234 total. So this year you think you'll probably do what, like 250?
Probably. I'm thinking, yeah. I mean, we're still getting a lot of, we're getting like leaf removal. We do one that's like weekly. That's just like with the mowers. And then one that is monthly. I'm just trying that. We usually just do the monthly, but we're trying the weekly thing out now, which is pretty cool.
Got it.
So yeah.
So you used contractors quite a bit last year.
Yeah.
Not so much this year though.
Yeah. And the subcontractors, I think that was maybe when I couldn't, like, maybe I wouldn't have the employees in, and it would just be me paying them, like for the day,
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't use like subcontractors for work I can't do. I don't do that.
Okay. I'm just looking through. So do you do everything on credit cards, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That since last year, I think. So it's that they do take some money out there, a lot probably.
Okay. Legal and professional fees, $9,000. What was that? That was this year.
That was this year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know someone was kind of doing some coaching with me.
Okay.
just in general. So I think I just added that on there.
Okay.
I don't know what else is on there. Yeah.
Okay. And then gross expense 75,000. Okay. Got it. So at least this year it looks like you're gonna be more profitable than last year.
Yeah, yeah. And I end off with I've been two guys for a while.
Mhm.
So it's like I'm making almost the same. Like I've been two guys for like 4 months or something like that. So it's like
Yep.
I'm making this maybe the same amount of revenue or more, and but more profit, I think.
Okay.
So that's
Cool. Cool.
yeah.
And then for next year, do you kind of just plan not necessarily growing, but you're really focusing on like profitability and like have you implemented P4P at all or anything like that?
No, I'm looking at that. I'm looking at that. I know it's I'm not a numbers guy, so I did try it, and it's interesting though because sometimes it looks like they worked fast. So if I either just give them just the 8 hours because they worked fast, or if I just pay them the hourly rate of what they worked, I see sometimes like on I think a day like last week they made more on hourly than if they were doing uh because I guess the drive time was taking up time, so they made it was like a longer day because of everything together. But if we just account for the jobs, they they would have made, let's say, 130, and if we include the drive time, I think they make 140, 150. So I guess that would pay them that, right?
Well, yeah, like the thing is, yeah, P4P, like if they're switching actually to P4P, they're only getting paid when they're on the job, right? And they're
Right.
getting a percentage of that revenue. And it's not like based upon 8 hours a day. It's just based upon how many hours are on each and every job, right? But
Right.
you're still small enough. I'm assuming you're out in the field too, so it can be tough sometimes to implement P4P when you're out there as well.
Uh, yeah. I mean, right now I'm trying to let them do like work as much as they can on their own because I want to focus on trying to work on the system and stuff. But sometimes I'm out there when I want to also kind of perfect or work on new services or how we offer them. So.
Mhm.
Mm,
Yeah, like in my mind, usually until you hit 4 employees, it's okay to be out. Like honestly, working quote unquote on your business when there's only a couple, like 2, 3 employees, there's just you're not moving the needle enough. And if you are moving the needle, you'd make more money than what you're saving if you just worked out in the field, right? So
I
like
agree with
usually,
that. I agree
go
with
ahead.
that. Working out in the field, I think I think especially when they really need it, I think that's a good idea. I mean, just trying to make some money off of them too working, I won't make much. So I think
Yeah.
I think at least for this year, I should end off the year working out in the field, and then next year have a goal to have. My goal is to have. I already have one crew of like 100 lawns, and then
Hmm.
I want to do another crew with something like that, and then another
Yep.
crew with just bed maintenance.
Right.
So that's my goal
So,
for next year.
so do you have 100 lawns right now then?
Yeah, like 100 lawns, and then we have like 30 bed maintenance.
Got it. Cool. Cool. All right. And then in terms of like employee incentive, you had mentioned kind of like that perception that they have right now. Do you do open book management? Like, do you show them the numbers or anything like
I,
that?
I mean, I don't even understand I can't. How would I need to be able to be like confident in what I see and what I know. So I don't know it. I don't
Mhm,
honestly. I've never taken any schooling in business.
mhm,
So I've always like, work mowing lawns, my whole life, but I don't know anything about it.
mhm. So right now, like for example, with this is obviously coming from QuickBooks. Do you just send your numbers to someone, or do they have like access to your service autopilot, or how do you do that?
Well, basically right now it's just a bookkeeper that whatever comes like they have the banks like linked to the QuickBooks. So
Mhm.
whatever comes in, they just document.
Okay.
That's all.
And
That's
then
that.
do you get like a monthly statement or anything like that from them?
Yeah. I think it's like a month after.
A month after. So like for example, let's say, did you just get October September's then recently?
Yeah, that's how it would work. Yeah, probably the
Okay.
beginning. Yeah, yeah.
So
Because
about three
I guess
weeks afterwards.
yeah, I guess they have like a lot of counts, so they like finish it and then they have it at, like
Mhm.
the beginning of the month. Yeah.
Why? What do you think you could do the expense allocation part,
I,
which is
I don't know what I don't know what that is.
Mhm.
I just don't know.
Yeah,
I
like,
have training on that.
no, you're good. You're good. So like honestly, like I would really encourage you just so you can know your numbers. Like
Yes.
3 weeks even like is just too long because you're getting
Yeah.
data from the month prior, which means now you're talking 7, 8 weeks ago. The transactions that happened is what when you're finally actually looking at your statements. Like
Yes.
you really need to be able to look at QuickBooks and know exactly where you're at right now
Yes.
for the
Yes.
week, for the month to date, last month versus this month. And like in my mind, the only way to do that is if you do the expense allocation, which all that
What does
means
that
is
mean? Expense allocation. Does that mean just like name putting everything in its place?
exactly, exactly. You don't even need to run reports. You don't need to do taxes. You don't need to do payroll. They can do that side of things for you. But if you go into QuickBooks, like if they give you access to your account right now, literally all you're going to do is as transactions pile up, you're just going to say, okay, that's categorized as fuel expense. That's categorized as insurance. That's categorized as payroll expenses. For every single expense, literally it will take you max 5 minutes twice a week,
Are you serious?
right?
So the thing is, they send me a bill like they charge $75 a man hour, and they send me bills of 5, 6, 7 hour. Can you imagine that? Like I get something like 300, 400, $500, and that it's so much. I believe I don't know what they're doing there.
Yeah, like $75 an hour isn't so bad, but the bottom line for your size of business, they shouldn't be spending more than an hour a month on expense
I
categorization.
think like
Like,
$150 tops, right? They should be charging me.
oh yeah, well the thing is, if they're doing, payroll and doing other stuff for you, like that might add up. But if they're just expense category, yeah, that's crazy. So like if you're spending $400 to $800 a month on that, I'd highly recommend just YouTubing, QuickBooks Online. And do you have access to your account?
Yeah, yeah.
Like do they own the account or do you own the QuickBooks account?
No, it's my QuickBooks Online account. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. So like if you're able to log into there, and then they would probably have a separate user, you could always block them out once you're comfortable with it. But honestly, just go onto YouTube and like search, expense categorization, QuickBooks Online.
So
Um,
expense
Categorization,
categorization.
or it's like, yeah, anything along those lines you'll find. Even just
And
organizing
I'm not gonna
expenses.
I'm not gonna mess everything up for taxes. I'm not gonna like I won't make a mess.
No, and honestly, like, do you have a good relationship with your accountant or bookkeeper right now?
It's I mean it's just a business not it's okay. It's not the
Yeah.
best. It's okay.
Okay. Do they do other stuff for you besides expense categorization?
I mean I think they do like some
Do they
things for
payroll?
no, no.
No?
Just
Okay.
sometimes with loans or they do like appreciation or stuff like that. Like I don't
For
understand it, but
taxes.
they do some stuff that like with loans that I don't know how to do.
Like honestly, you get a good CPA to run your taxes at the end of the year, they'll do that appreciation, depreciation stuff for
Oh,
you. Because that's the only reason it's necessary is when you're doing your taxes. When you're small as you are, you're running your monthly reports. You don't need to take that into account. What you need to know is where your money's going. you know,
yes, yes. I need to know that.
So like if especially if they're charging you that much, like I just told a franchisee of ours, he was spending $300 a month on getting his expenses categorized, and I told him to pull the plug on them. I'd tell you the same thing. I can guarantee you it's going to take less than 10 minutes a week for you to do it because you know where you spent all your money,
Yeah.
right? The thing that takes them longer is they got to figure out based upon just random information where the money's going. Whereas for you, you know where you went to Shell for the gas, and that from State Farm, it's from that's for the insurance. Like you already know, you can literally do expense categorization like in seconds.
And I know you saw the one that I had, like how it's categorized right now. Like I don't feel like it's that friendly to see like the way it's labeled. It just seems like it's not really like.
Intuitive.
Did you see
Yeah,
it?
like yeah, I did, and like I would recommend just consolidating some of the what's called chart of accounts or the categories. Like for example, under office expenses, they had that split out into like 10 different things from like computer to stationery to a general office expense to interest expense, legal expense. Like I would just put that as office expenses, you
Yes.
know. Payroll, for example, similarly, you could, that stuff is broken down decently. But like for utilities, you don't need 7 line items or categories for utilities, you know?
What is that
Basically,
like electricity type of thing?
you got right now they have storage expense, postage and delivery, which I don't know how that's utilities.
Delivery.
Telephone, then they got cell phone is separate than telephone. So like I would just recommend consolidating them to make it where when you look at these numbers, they mean something to you. Because right
So what
now they're just spread
consolidating
out so much.
and consolidating means like putting it into one category?
Here, I'll show you. So like, did you look at any of the videos I did recently for
Yeah, I
like
saw one that you showed something like something one of your locations. You did
yeah,
something.
so like you notice it was probably like, you know, yay big
Yes,
on a page,
that thing
right?
was awesome. Yes.
I'm looking at yours, like it's two solid pages and it doesn't tell a story because I got to look through it so
Yeah.
detail, right? Because
Yes.
I've got an entire line item for a 7122 expense. I've got line items that are blank, have zero, like literally you're not using them. I have a 4462 line item on my year that's on my P&L, right? Those things should be grouped into things, for example, right? It's too specific right now. And as you grow, as a company gets bigger, you get more and more specific. But at your size, I'd be focused on how do I consolidate? How do I make less categories so that way I can actually look at a P&L and understand, oh, a third of my revenue went to labor. Like that's really easy if it's categorized correctly. But
So
if I go ahead,
and so you think it like how specific do you think I should have it so specific to know like can you see the on Facebook the picture of the one that my friend sent? Did you see that one?
the Excel document.
Yes. Do you see how he's like that's what he does. He has like a pretty good sized company and that's how he does
Yep,
it. Do
yep.
you think it's something like that I should be or is that too much?
Way too much. No, and this is requiring imported data. I would just stick to what's on QuickBooks. What their reports are. It's very, very simple. Let me actually pull up my QuickBooks for the Mount Vernon location to show you how easy this is. 1 second. But yeah, like in terms of that Excel document that your friend, let me just see if I can pull it so we're looking at the same thing here. So in terms of this here, like there's just too much information that you're going to have to manually input, or you're moving information from QuickBooks or Service Autopilot into this, right? It needs to be
Right.
very fast, it's simple for you to look at numbers and be able to tell a story, be able to make a decision. Like, should I buy equipment this month? Well, I don't know. I don't know how. Like, it needs to be like, oh, okay, I have I have $20,000 in profit. Like, yes, I can afford that. Or no, I can't. We're running really skinny this month, right? Like this is just too much information for your size of business. Like if this was a $3 million business
Yeah,
and
it's
you
big.
wanted to take an hour a week, that's what you would be doing here, right?
Yeah.
So now let me just minimize that. Let me.
So you think me just by going on YouTube I could learn enough to take over the bookkeeper's job and
100%. Like
really
I'll open up mine right now.
I'm not gonna mess up my whole bookkeeping and
No, that's what they want you to think.
okay.
Honestly, like if you have this is what, like if you know of a bookkeeper, be like, hey, I want to come in once a quarter for 1 hour. What are you going to charge me for that? Like that's what I would do if I was you. They can look over everything you've done, see if there's any issues or you mess something up, but you're going to pay maybe $100 for that hour with them just to look over your books and maybe create a quarterly report for you in that hour, and you can do all the expense categorization on a daily or weekly basis.
Okay. And I check it how often? Do I check it like
If you do it twice a week, you're just fine. Like, so for example, like some people think like you got to be like, crazy to be doing your expense categorization. I'm a huge fan of doing this until you're extremely profitable and you're not in the business at all, because you just know your numbers, right? Like for the franchise, for example, I still, every single dollar spent at the franchise, I see on QuickBooks. and I expense categorize that because it's not. Go ahead.
Oh, you categorize, you mean like the whole franchise business?
For Augusta Lawn Care.
Okay.
Yep. I don't do the individual locations because they're running with managers and I'm out of day-to-day operations. But when it comes to the franchise, because it's still growing and because it's still not profitable every single month in every area, I need to know those numbers, right? And so
Yes.
if you're trying to increase profitability, you need to know these numbers like off the top of your head. You can't wait like 6-7 weeks
Do you
afterwards.
ever think having a bookkeeper is like something that you should have, or is that like later on, or how does that go?
I would recommend meeting up with a good bookkeeper that was willing to meet with you quarterly, right? So for example,
Okay.
I have a bookkeeper, they do payroll, but then I will once a quarter have a meeting with her and I want to go over all the expense categorization because I don't do all of it. Like the gym, for example, the manager does the expense categorization. The Bellingham location, they do the expense categorization. Like it's all different there. And I need her to just to look over everything, make sure everything's good. I'm talking about like 30 minutes for all the businesses every
Oh,
quarter with
so
her.
that you do that every quarter, someone looks at your books like
The
every.
bookkeeper. Yep. And then at the end of the year, I'm going to pay someone, a CPA, a lot more money to actually do the taxes and make sure everything's good. But there's not a lot for them to do if I've stayed on top of it every week doing the expense categorization. Then every quarter, I've met up with a bookkeeper and just got their thumbs up on it and make sure everything was good. And at the end of the year is very little work for our accountant to do.
Yeah, and I get big bills too. I got from the accountant. I still haven't paid it. It's like 1,700. I don't know if that's a big bill, but that sounds big. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a lot.
yeah. I don't even feel like paying it right now.
The thing is, if you keep track good throughout the year and you know what's going on in the business, when it comes to tax season, they'll be able to ask a question. And instead of you saying, oh, let me go ask my bookkeeper now, you'll know the number right off the top of your head, right? I paid less than $1,700 last year, all of my tax returns to be done, right? Including all
Wow.
the businesses. Now, I paid more money for my accountants to set up other stuff like accounting fees are a lot more. But for my taxes, that was less than 1,700 because though of staying on top of it, right? Obviously the quarterly helps somewhat with the bookkeeper, but honestly 90% of it has to do with me checking or one of the managers checking every single week, twice a week, 3 times a week, making sure those expenses are categorized. So I'm gonna actually up
The expenses are categorized.
I'm
Okay.
gonna show you our QuickBooks. This is the Mount Vernon location, the smaller one.
Is that
Um,
is it your brother or?
Yep, yep, he's the manager. So I haven't been down there in a long, long time. You'll see, like for example, this is QuickBooks. This is inside of his QuickBooks. You'll see he's losing money, $2,000 net for October, and that's because there was a $7,000 worth of profit sharing this month, right?
Seven
So
worth of prop. Oh, but between him and someone else?
just him for quarterly because he's the manager.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in just a second for your employees. But like, so that's why it looks negative. I know that by the end of October, once they collect them, it'll be positive for the month and everything. But anyways, this is QuickBooks Inside. When you go here, the same thing is going to happen for with your accountant. They're going to have your accounts up here. So for example, we have a Gold American Express card that the employees have, including Tim, and this is the bank account, right? So yeah, you can see how much is in the bank account. Look
Question,
at that.
Mike.
Yep.
Question. I have like all these accounts because I heard like profit first, and it's just like I have all these things. Like, is it good to just have one account, or what would you recommend?
Right now, if I asked you, do you have 5 accounts?
I have one that's income, that it all goes into income. Then I have one that's payroll, and then I have operating. Those are like the three that I use.
Okay, how much do you have in each
Uh,
right now?
let me see. I know on payroll whenever it's payroll, I just move the money over. I
So
probably don't have.
I don't even need to know how much. I don't even need to know how much. The what the concept is, you need to know that number like that, right? And so if having 3 accounts is keeping you from knowing that number, then I'd scratch the 3 accounts. Profit first works great, but if it's going to prevent you from knowing your numbers because you just literally money goes into these accounts and you're like, you don't really know how much is in each one and you have no idea what's going on, I would completely scrap it and just deal with one account.
Maybe that's why it makes bookkeeping more expensive too, is because they have to do 3 accounts.
They have to move stuff around, all of that.
maybe if they just had one, it would be less expensive.
Like what we have right here, right? So we got our bank account, we got our credit cards, right? I know that
Okay,
all of
that's awesome.
our expenses. So like, let's see here. Let's see if there's anything to actually update. So this is literally what you would see, right? You put your accounts in here, you click update, which it's doing right now, and then it's going to bring up new transactions since the last time you updated. So for example, this was done like 5 days ago, I think, in terms of being categorized, but there's just one transaction on the bank account. So I scroll down to this, I see $151.90 was a mobile deposit. I know that sales because Tim, the man, has access to the bank account and can do mobile transactions, depositing checks. Right, so I just confirm, boom, it's categorized just like that.
Well,
And
the category, like, how do I? Could we look at it through my my screen to see how I could go through it?
yep. Can you share? Do you know how to share on your screen?
Let me see. I share screen. I see it. Let me try that.
Go ahead and click that, and then open up the window, or click on the window whichever has your QuickBooks. So probably Chrome or Safari or whatever you're using.
Right now it says host disabled attendee screen sharing at the moment.
Oh, 1 second. One second.
No problem.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you the host for just a second, so that way you can share your screen.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So I will click on the one that. Okay. Let me know if you see it.
Yep, I see it.
Perfect. Okay. So, do you see all those? I think those are the counts, right?
So these are just the expense categories. These ones in the middle right here. So
these
expenses. So yeah, this is expenses for last month. Your total expenses was 27,000, and then 16,000 of that was payroll. 2,500 of that was legal, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
1,400 subcontractor. No idea. Everything else. Right. That just sounds strange.
This is the big red flag I'm seeing right now, Carlos, is down in the left-hand corner. You have 21 and 53 to review. They are literally doing expense categorization once a month.
Okay. And then
so let's just show you how to do it. Go up to banking in the top left there.
Right.
Go to banking. Click on the banking.
Okay.
And it's going to open up what we're just looking at on mine, right? So what I would recommend, if you want to make this simple, is to go down to one account right now. Down the road, if you want to implement profit first, awesome. But you need to know your numbers first, right? So, but in terms of what's going on right now, for example, oh yeah, I can see what's happening. So scroll down a bit. I'm assuming, see these online transfers? I'm guessing this is what's breaking the money apart into different accounts. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Because like I can see there was 150, and 650. Those are probably going to 3 different accounts. Then for example, though, like this is pretty simple, right? So we got return authorized from Home Depot. You could just, add that to job materials. I wouldn't do it yet, just in case you're going to let them keep doing it or not. But if you're dead set on you taking over, I'd go for it.
Wait, so all I do is just put add. Is that correct? How it's labeled?
Yep. So right now, when you clicked add, it disappeared.
Right.
So scroll up a little bit.
Scroll up.
And see how right now you're on for review. To the left a little bit, left. See the for review tab. Up. Right to your left, down. Right there, for review. No, sorry. You can't see where I'm pointing.
I know.
Click your, just click once, just so that thing goes away. Yep.
Oh, I see it. Go away.
Yeah. So see where it says for review. That's what we're looking at right now. But now go to categorized. Okay. And now you're going to see on the very top there, that's where your Home Depot return is at now. That you just authorized. No. Down below.
Okay. Return authorized.
That's the one you just added.
Okay.
So what's happening is when you go to for review, these are the transactions you need to review and allocate them into the correct category. Once you've done that, it goes to categorized.
So, okay. So if I have the return authorized AutoZone, what would I do? Is that fine? I mean, that's
So this looks like a return. Is that correct?
Yeah, I bought like a hitch.
Yep. And because I can see like 4 or 5 down there, I see at AutoZone, or sorry, 5 or 6 down, I see AutoZone for 3709. And then I
Yes.
see a 15. Oh, the one you're on exactly. So I would see it says auto expense where your cursor's
Yes.
at. Was this an auto expense or was this a job material?
It was an auto expense.
Okay, so the one you're on right now, let's add that one in.
Okay.
But then on the return, go up a few.
Return. Oh,
1589.
here.
Don't click that. Don't click that. Because see, it says on the category, it says job materials. So click on that. It's going to do a drop down, and now you can just change the category to auto expenses.
Auto expenses.
Scroll up, scroll. You could also just see where at the top of this drop down, yeah, just type in auto. Oh, sorry, my bad. Click the little X next to there. Sorry, you were searching the expenses. Yeah, exit out of that. Go down to here. Go down to drop down again for the job materials. We're changing that to auto. Nope, sorry. There you go. Sorry, I keep pointing. And now, yeah, just right now, see how on the thing it has a blue on job
Yes.
materials?
Okay.
Just start typing. Just type. Yeah, there you go. Then the auto expense. Perfect. Now it's changed. Now you can go ahead and add that.
1 second. Add. What?
Perfect.
So it was added, and so
Yep.
even if it's a return, you still add it.
To making sure it's going to the same category, right? Because the debit and a credit, basically money in, money out. And so so for example, there, what we effectively did there, $15 went in, like was an expense, $15 came out of that category. The net effect was 0, but we want to make sure we keep track of those expenses and those transactions.
Because
right?
in the computer, it'll know, I guess it'll affect your materials cost.
No, that wouldn't, because we're effectively making it 0, but we want to keep track of it.
Oh, you want to keep track of it. Okay. And how about this? I have no idea what Home Depot. I'm sure it was like
$1.78.
yeah. I think it was screws.
Okay, so click on it. No. Yeah, just click on that. See now the memo?
Yeah.
I would put screws in there. Do you know what you use the screws for?
It was screws for I think it was like actually bolts for the mower.
Yep. So just type that in. Bolts for the mower.
Bolts for mower.
Which means it's not going to be a job material. This is going to be maintenance.
Maintenance. Okay.
Yep. So look, do you have an equipment maintenance or anything like that in here?
This is like the first time I've actually looked at this.
You're good.
I don't know.
You're good. So
Wait,
just yep, type in there
repair
and
maintenance.
maintenance. Let's go.
Awesome.
Let's go and add that in. So I can guarantee you right now things are getting misallocated because your bookkeeper is doing this once a month or maybe once every 2 weeks. I would highly recommend doing this twice a week, because then you're only going to have, like I had, 1 or 2 expenses that you know exactly right away where those are supposed to go to, and you can add more information. I promise your CPA has to work less if you got this level of detail, like bolts for the mower, not just, oh, like there's a charge to Home Depot.
Right. Okay, and this one, if it's also some if it's like, I think it's just also like screws and bolts that we need for we were doing like a project on the mower, like we were trying the X blades out. And so that would be also that would be under
maintenance and repairs.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. How about stuff
So,
like disposal, like trash?
Yep. So click that. I bet you have a dumping fee. So click that. Go ahead and type in there. Just do dumping. Okay, you don't have that. Do you have honestly, in the past, they probably put this under something stupid like miscellaneous. So just keep scrolling.
Yes.
Keep going. You're in equity, okay, income. Keep going down. Like right now, you have so many income accounts too. Like I just put everything under one thing, like service income, for example, right? Okay, so you got cost of goods. Keep going down.
That's it.
That's the end?
Yeah.
It's not good. Scroll up to the top again. Scroll. Keep going, go. Keep going. We're still in equity category. So I want to go up to expenses. So keep going. See on the right hand side there, it says like different, like credit card, fixed asset. Like I want to go up to expenses.
Oh.
There you go. Perfect. All right, okay, so scroll up now. Disposal fees.
What did we put in there? We put something like that. Oh no, we put dump.
Dump. Yeah. You'll get to know what your categories are, right? And when I would recommend January 1st, go in here and reduce the number of categories that you got. All right, so go ahead and add that one.
Okay, I got you. So category would be like putting just office for everything, or putting labor. Would I do that or no?
I would just, so for example, go over to your left-hand side, go to accounting.
Okay, here?
Yep, chart of accounts.
Okay.
And by the way, I'm going to send you the recording of this video so you can see this later too.
Thank you.
So scroll down. These are all your categories that they've created for you. And half of these need to be deleted.
Wait, so the name, like each one of these is a category for, okay.
Correct. And then the type is like your bank accounts. Then you got asset accounts. Keep scrolling. Then you got credit cards, and they have liabilities set up for you. Keep going.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know what, like how I would do garnish or net salary payable. I don't know where I would put. Would that just be payroll?
Well, look, it hasn't been used. See all the zeros? They're not even using it on the right hand side.
So the ones that aren't used, just like get rid of those.
Well, like for example, like unless you're having money like payroll tax payable, you don't need to keep track of that right now. Just when the money goes out, expense categorize that into payroll tax.
Gotcha.
Right. So see, a lot of these could be, reduced. For example, like scroll down a little bit more. See all these income accounts?
Yes.
You just need to have one. You need to have service income, right? Or sales, either one.
Oh.
You only need one. Like basically any money comes into your business, you know what it's coming from. It's coming from your services, right? Inside of Service Autopilot, you can keep track of like where you got the money from whether it be landscaping or trees or lawn service or treatments or whatever. You can keep track of that in Service Autopilot. Here, we're just trying to get a good P&L. That's simple enough for you to understand.
Okay.
So I wouldn't do all the changes on this part until January 1st. Because
so after January 1st, I can start doing that. And do you think I can still take over now though?
Yep.
Okay.
It's just going to take a little bit more scrolling to find like the categories that they've created.
Right.
And then like, if they're a good company, they will agree to 1 hour per quarter for you just to come talk to them. That's all you ask for. Like, look, I'm going to take over expense categorization and all the bookkeeping, but can I come in once a quarter and just show you what I've done and go over it? Like you're doing the hard part, which is payroll. Looks like you do it through ADP. Yeah. So like that's the hard part, honestly, compared to this, like this is simple. So at the end of the year, you can delete some of these categories if you want to, or maybe you get in the groove and you start to figure out what they are doing throughout doing it yourself the next few months for asset or expense categorization.
So, and where does the categories, these categories, like where is that reflect, or is that when I'm trying to allocate it to?
Exactly. When you're scrolling down, this is what's showing up.
So if it's like a lot less, if we have it condensed, then it'd probably be like 6 or something like that, or say 10. And so whatever, like if it's dumping fees, it would just be dump, or if it's a sale, then just like that, simple.
Yep.
Okay.
So like scroll down. So for example, you see the types. These are all other stuff that they have in there, but if you scroll down, you'll hit expenses eventually.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Going, keep going. There we go. Now we're in expenses, right? So these are the expense categories that they have. And you can create new ones, right? So like if you scroll to the very top of this page,
What here?
yep, all the way. See what it says new?
Yes. Yep.
So just don't do import, just new. Yep, perfect. Click that. Put new. This is where you could create a new one. And I wouldn't do this till January 1st because you're gonna mess yourself up.
Uh-huh.
So for example, if you want to say, hey, I'm gonna move, employee related expenses, into one, I'm gonna do wages under another one, I'm gonna do employee taxes another, whatever. This is where you would create them, right? So under account type, you could just select what type of category this is gonna be. So it's probably most of them are gonna be expenses. So if you scroll down a bit,
Okay. Expenses.
expenses, yep. And then you're just gonna create a name for it on the right-hand side, and you're off to the races, right? And your detail type, sorry, I keep pointing. It says advertising and promotional. You just change that to kind of whatever closest is representative of the thing you're going to add. So for example, if you're doing, labor, I do cost of labor, and then the name could be whatever you want, cost of labor, or you could change it to employee wages, whatever it might be.
But so this goes inside of expenses or
This would be right now you're creating a category
okay.
of expenses so that when you do
Okay.
that drop down and you're allocating them, you have something else to put it into. So what I would do if I was you, if you exit out of this, I would January 1st go through this page, the chart of accounts, figure
Yeah.
out which ones you need to delete,
Yes.
and then start new ones.
Right. Okay. So it wouldn't affect anything because it's the new year, right?
That's why I would do this literally January 1st. So that way you can run your taxes for 2020, and then starting in 2021, as you allocate your expenses, they're all following in the simpler categorization.
Okay. Okay. And that's just based on my needs of how I want to categorize it. Like I don't. Okay.
Yeah, and honestly, if I was you, because your current bookkeeper is probably gonna be a little bit sour that you're not doing services, and they're not gonna be able to rip you off anymore. I would go to just go shopping around locally and say, hey, I want a bookkeeper, but all I want from you is 1 hour every quarter, 2 hours. Let's say 2 hours per quarter to sit down with you, go over my books, and see if there's ways I can improve. And they might say, hey, like we should add another expense category, or say we should split up fuel expense for the trucks and for the equipment or something like that. And that's fine. They'll give you good advice. But I just truly believe that I'd rather you lose on a couple deductions on your taxes than not know your numbers the entire year. Right. And so, when a bookkeeper gets paid by the hour, it's in their best interest to complicate things as much as possible. Our goal is to know our numbers and simplify things as much as possible. So I'd rather have you oversimplified and maybe miss out on a couple fine details of your accounting method.
If I just make it one account now, will that mess things up or no?
Does everything from Service Autopilot go into one account?
All the all the sales? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And then your payroll, does it come out of that other account though?
The payroll account, yeah.
So you just want to make sure that everything is lined up on one. So what I would do if I was you, I would look at your payroll. So if you go to banking and then go to banking again on here, I would go to the payroll. So see the three boxes on the right-hand side. There's that arrow that keep going. Or is that it right there?
What the payroll one or
keep
no,
going. So you got income,
okay.
You got operating expenditures. That's PR. What's the PR one?
Payroll.
Yep. So click on that one, and then you're going to be able to scroll down, which kinds of expenses you need to get changed over. So whether it be coming from ADP, whether it be if you're writing checks out of this, you just need to know that if you're going to switch to the other account, you don't want money being trying to draw from this account. So you probably need to change like payroll, for example, over to the other one. And same thing with like your credit cards. If they're getting paid out of OpEx, you might need to change that to the other one account, right?
Where are you saying that?
OpEx? Scroll up. OpEx is far left. It's another account you got.
Yeah. So what what's your like? What are you thinking about that then? I didn't understand
Yeah,
that.
I'm thinking that if you're going to move to one account, you just need to look at the other accounts that you intend on not using and making sure that whatever transactions are coming either in or out of them are changed. So, for example, ADP, you need to go in there and say, hey, I don't want you drawing from this account anymore. I want you drawing from this account.
Okay, so basically you're saying like keep an eye out on the other ones still, but it's okay to do everything from one account. Is that what you're saying? Or?
Yeah, pretty much. I just don't want you to forget about like payrolls coming out of that other account, and in your mind it's you're only on this other one account, right? So just making sure that everything's transferred over to that one account basically.
But I mean, when everything is transferred over, that's fine. Like we'll just do that one. And okay, do I
Yep.
need to keep it though, like up for until the end of the year though, the other accounts that were there, or
I would just keep them open, honestly. There's no reason not to have them open.
okay, is that
You
just
just
for this
keep
year?
it doesn't matter really because these are probably just checking accounts, right? So unless you're paying for them, you could literally just let them
Because
stay open.
I'd probably, I mean, what do you think about like for accounts like savings? Do you just always just keep all the money of the business in one account?
We do. Again,
Okay.
for simplicity's sake,
Yes.
uh,
Okay.
to split it up. I don't know why you'd want to split it up, other than
I don't know.
down the road if you do implement profit first. That's a great method, but right
Right.
now you need to know your
Okay.
numbers first. You need to know these things first, in my mind.
So just one account. Okay. Okay. Uh,
Because, for example, if you go to the income account, you're going to see money being transferred to other accounts simply to get money in the other accounts, not because there's an expense. So if
That's
you click on
more.
that,
What's up?
it it just creates like what you're about to say there, more work, right? So if you go to the center account there, the income one, sorry, go up, and the one in the middle where as far as your income account. So this is where the money is coming in, but you see where it says spent and there's money going out. This 15, the 150, the 150, the 650, that's just money being moved to your other accounts. So that's why that's not going to show up on a profit and loss statement. That's why on the far right hand side, see how it says transfer instead of add?
Transfers. Yes.
That's because it already recognizes, hey, we're just moving money from one account to another account. So when you click
So
transfer, that's not going to actually show up on your P&L, which is fine. That's good. But we can reduce the amount of all this stuff happening by simply taking away those other accounts.
and that's fine to just click transfer on all those.
Yep, because you're not really doing it. It's just acknowledging that money is going from one account to another.
Wow. They probably just
And then
spent time. Can you imagine spending 5 hours just doing clicking? That's just like not right.
yeah, so like all of these are basically either coming from clearance, which is your sales, or they are just money being moved to other accounts. That's all this is.
Okay. Okay. And is that necessarily what they're charging, or is this the
It's
sales?
received.
Okay.
See
Okay.
how you're in the receive column there? So that's money coming in.
Okay. Okay. Yep. You're right. Spend. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I should probably start getting like really, start working in here in QuickBooks to kind of get familiar and then find out what I need to learn. And
What I would do, honestly, if I was you, Carlos, is I would shop around for another bookkeeper. Say, hey, I need 2 hours of your time to help me on QuickBooks to know how exactly what I need to be doing every single day to make sure this is good. And then I need 2 hours of your time every quarter, and I'm going to pay you $100 or $150, and you can just look over what I've done and make sure it's all good. So that way, at the end of the year, everything's good for taxes,
so,
right?
so you're saying like the first after, like when I'm doing thing, like to start off for him to like look at everything to make sure like together.
Yeah, I would say, hey, look, I'm trying to just be honest. Like, look, I'm wanting to take over the expense categorization for my business so I understand my numbers. And
Right.
this is, you're going to a different provider now. You're going to a different, not the one that you're currently using.
Yes.
And you're just saying, look, I want to use you guys. I'll need a couple hours of you sitting me down and going over all of my QuickBooks. And then every quarter, I want to go over everything that I've done in my QuickBooks to make sure that I'm doing it correctly.
So in the first time, what is he going to be? Is he just going to be like taking a look at everything, or what is
He'll
he?
do exactly what I'm doing with you now so that they understand how you're doing expenses. And they might say, hey, if you could do this to make it our job easier, if you could just make, change this category, like they'll walk you through that. But you do not want someone to take this over for you. You just simply want
Yeah.
someone's opinion and advice quarterly, and to get them started, they just need to see inside here, know what's going on and how you kind of run the business.
And I'd have a bookkeeper do that even now that I don't have like the categories how I want it. Like I'd still do it now.
They can help you do that. They can help you do that and make sure that you both are on the same page in one consultation meeting. That does not take 5 hours. We've spent 50 minutes and basically got a lot accomplished in 2 hours. They would be able to help you delete out old accounts, merge them together, whatever's needed, get you on the right path. And then if you ever had a question, they should be someone you can reach out to, but you're not paying them $500 a month to do nothing. Because if you scroll down, I can almost guarantee you, yeah, they're doing this maybe once every 2 weeks. And I can promise you they're spending 15 minutes each time if they're good.
Yeah, I mean, doing 15 minutes doing what? Just add. Oh, yeah, that's easy though. I mean, this is really easy. It's just pretty much just classifying where your
100%. Yep.
That's easy. Okay.
And it can be simplified a lot once you start closing down other accounts, because a lot of these transfers are just to other accounts.
Okay, so it's okay for me to do one, change everything, like all my expenses and everything, and just have it one account right now.
For now, yeah. I think down the road, it might be a good habit to get in using Profit First if that's something you've adopted and think that's great to kind of give yourself some discipline on finances.
Right.
However, if you don't know your numbers, I don't care how disciplined you are, that money's floating around in oblivion and you don't know what's happening to it. And just moving it between different accounts doesn't make you any more aware of your numbers, right? So
yeah, make me more confused.
Yeah. So I'd focus on getting your numbers and then focusing on, if you need to discipline yourself financially, use Profit First.
Okay. That'd be great. Definitely. So so you said how long has it been right now?
It's been 55 minutes. I got like 3 minutes. I got to hop on it.
Okay.
2:30 our time. So go for it.
So what I'm thinking is I definitely, are you going to continue doing this?
Oh, like the calls? Yeah. If you ever needed me.
Yeah.
But like I really think in terms of the QuickBooks side, I'd really encourage, trying to get with a new bookkeeper, because they're going to want to earn your business. They'll be more flexible. If you try to do that to your existing person, they're going to be like, oh no, we need to do this and all that. Right. So that's why I'd go try to find someone new.
Right. What I was saying is, kind of, I like the way you think about business, and I don't really have, I need someone that can help me, in these stages, like, yeah, would it be possible to like do that again, but like kind of have like help me, get towards where I need to be so that the business is kind of more of like it's like how the business works is kind of, it's more like, how would you say that?
Like systematized or?
Yeah. I mean, where everything's kind of in place, like with employee stuff, with just kind of like, and also kind of direction. Like, I don't know what direction right now. I mean, but maybe you could help me with this.
Yeah. Like I'll have these type of calls where you can, pay and book for them, for the next while. And if I ever am going to close it down, I'll let people know on the podcast first. But like, I think the biggest thing is, when you listen to the podcast, when you listen to the videos, a lot of what we even talk about here, like we've said today, it's in there. It's just, I haven't been able to step into your QuickBooks, right? But like we talk about there, knowing your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, we've got to figure this out, right? And when we talk about like P for P, for example, on the podcast, and it's in the course and everything else, like it's there, right? And so, I'd really encourage you, obviously, like, don't think you're going to change your business overnight, right? Like doing this is a great step. If you did this, if this took you the next few weeks to kind of solidify, understand, you're saving yourself like $500 a month. That's a great first step. right? Maybe next spring you're going to implement P for P. Maybe you come for conference in January and learn, profit sharing and culture stuff. Like those are all steps you can take, right? Like, and just do it one by one. And I think this is a big thing you got to fix, though, and that is knowing the numbers. Like literally, someone wake you up at 2 a.m., ask you how much you made yesterday, how much you're profiting this month, year to date. Like you need to know those things, right? Otherwise, you can't make decisions. And like your bookkeeper doesn't make decisions in terms of how much you're growing or where you're marketing or where you're spending your money. So them knowing your numbers doesn't do you any good. You need to know your numbers.
Wow. Awesome, man. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Hopefully we stay in touch, and when I get everything going and everything, maybe we could connect again and go over some things.
For sure, brother. Like a lot of people are in your same boat, right? And first of all, they just kind of blindly like give numbers to a bookkeeper and say, hey, take care of it. When in reality, if they could take that control back and understand their numbers, they'd be able to make good decisions for their business. Without that information, you cannot make good decisions in the business, whether it be P for P, how much money you pay your employees, what your cost per hours. You got to know this stuff. Like how much money do you spend last month in fuel? You got to know that. Why would I bend over backwards trying to create an efficiency around fuel if my whole fuel expense is only $500 a month and I'm only going to save $50?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the things you need to know where's your time best being spent. And the numbers, you just have to control those.
Wow. I agree. Totally, man. Thank you.
We'll stay in touch, brother. I'd love to see you at conference, or like whenever we stay in touch, you send me an email or anything like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool to go to a conference. You getting ready for that?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. We'll stay in touch.
All right, brother. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye.